Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. I'm your host, Jason Shea. And in this episode, we do a deep dive into the world of specialty toys with Kevin, a seasoned toy industry veteran with over 3 decades of experience. Kevin is also a founder of Original Toy Company, and he's going to share his remarkable journey with us from international manufacturing to establishing a renowned presence in Americans' specialty toys industry. And thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today, Kevin.
Good morning, Jason. Glad to be with you.
Yeah, it's fun. We spent like last 15 minutes trying to figure out the technical issues of the podcast, and that was always fun. But can you tell our listener and the audience a little bit more about your journey into the toy industry? What inspired you to start the Original Toy Company?
Thank you. I've put in probably over 35 years. I came into the business about 35 years ago, and I had the pleasure of running James Galt Company, Inc., which was a company based in England. And I ran their U.S. and Canadian operations. And they had educational products and toys. And they were one of the oldest toy companies in the world at that time, and started in London way back when. And so I then served underneath them for many years, and then I had the opportunity probably about 20 years ago to create my own company and create my own products. And that's pretty much how the Original Toy Company was established and invented. And here we are. We keep going and doing some great stuff. And we've stayed totally specialty from day one. We've never drifted. Oh, wow. We've never drifted to the left or the right. We've always gone straight forward. And I take great pride in that, because I think that there's not a lot of people or companies out there that can say they're true specialty. And we're one of those folks, and we carry that banner very proud.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And with such a diverse background in international businesses and manufacturing, how have you seen the specialty toy industry evolve over the last 3 decades?
That's a good question. I think it's changed dramatically since the first days that I came into this industry. I think that it's on a return. It's on a return venture, if I can put it in those words. I think that we saw some hiccups and we saw some ups and downs in the industry over the last 30 years. But I've seen some really good daylight in the last, I'd say, 5 years. And it seems to has leveled off, which is great. And I think that the consumer recognizes that the specialty toy side of the business is here to stay. Folks are going to their neighborhood toy stores for service. They're going there for product. They're going there for education. And nothing against the mass market, but you're not going to get that type of service, and you're not going to get that type of quality of product in the mass market. I think that when you go into a store and you have a question, the specialty folks around the United States and North America are there to serve their customers and take care of them and answer questions. Point them in the right direction for products that they want to use as a gift, birthday gift for their own children, and going forward. So, I think that it has changed dramatically, and I think that it's changed for the better. 30 years ago there was a hell of a lot more specialty toy stores in the United States than there is today. But the good news is it has leveled off, as I've said. And I think that, you've got a market out there in specialty of probably somewhere, give or take a couple hundred, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 to 2,800 unique specialty toy stores that are out there on the main streets of the USA.
Oh, that's a good, interesting stat. I didn't realize there's still that many. I feel like like the Amazon of the world and all the big retail store is really taking a lot of the market share away from the specialty store. But I also think there's a lot of very, very unique advantage that specialty store have, and the special human connection that store and the specialty store owner that have with their customer, that you cannot replicate that with Target, Walmart, or even Amazon. So
That's true, and I think that's the key. And the retailers that are successful are offering that service. I don't think
mhm.
if you don't offer that, unfortunately, I don't think the future is bright. I think you have to be in tune to your community. I think you have to be in tune to your customers, who and what they are, and what they're looking for. And people today want good value for their money, but they also want to be educated on what good toys are and what they mean, and what they want. So I think that's, again, it's back to the service levels that are important, and also the community involvement. Many store owners across the country are deeply involved in their community, and not just because they sell toys, but they care about their community, and their community recognizes them as leaders in retail, and especially in toys. So I think it's a two-way street.
Yeah, and I just attended Astra a few weeks ago in St. Louis. One thing that is very memorable for me, and also my sister, which is my marketing director, we both attend the Certified Play Expert for 2 days, which they teach not just about child development, or also about how can we use toys as a positive influence for a change in both human behaviors and also childhood developer educations. That's like, I think what going through that certification, it made me realize how important our industry should be and will be and is right now.
Yeah,
Not just, yeah, especially for
I
the
think
future
that's
generations.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an extra education bonus that people should take advantage of. And being a member of Astra, I think that's important. I think that the folks that are teaching that and giving that information are they're all different walks of life within the specialty toy industry, and I think you get a good perspective of what they're teaching and what they're showing. And again, it just makes your store and your business how should I say, a more tougher anchor to move, and that's what you want. You want that education, and you want the folks that come into your store to feel that they're getting just more than just a toy. They're getting a true partner that can give them education, can give them value.
100%, 100%. And I guess because you have so much experience, over 3 decades of experience in the specialty toy space, what are some of the unique challenges that you have faced in the specialty toy industry, and how have you overcome them?
It's a good question. Again, I think that the challenges are always going to be there. I think that sometimes they do change to some degree. I think that what we went through in the last 5 years with COVID, we're still seeing some remnants of that, but I'm happy to say that, I think we're seeing that daylight again. COVID, did a lot of negative things, not just to the toy business, but to many different industries. But it also, in looking at the challenges that we face, we face challenges in manufacturing, in looking, developing product. We face challenges in the marketplace, from a pricing standpoint. That's important, not just to us as a manufacturer or distributor, but also important to the retailers, and finding a good mix of product that is going to give them margin. And that's the magic word, is margin, for all of us. Is that it's got to be profitable for everybody in the circle. It's got to be profitable for the retailer. It's got to be profitable for us as selling the product to the retailer. It's got to be profitable for the sales reps. So there's a number of folks that are in this kind of circle of business. But I think the challenges going forward will probably be the same. I don't see that changing too much. I think that you've got to continue to reinvent yourself. And I know those are tough words, but I think that at the retail level and at our level, if you're not doing that on a regular basis, you better start, because
Mhm.
I don't have to tell you, the world is changing at a very fast pace. So I think that would be the number one challenge that I see, is that you have to keep reinventing yourself, and
Yes,
just not just accepting the status quo, and not let your
100%.
retail store just kind of hang there. You got to keep moving and get unique and different products. So again, the retailers are always looking for new and innovative products. So again, I think that's another piece of it.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, because I interview so many people in the toy industry, I think there's a trend of a lot of the toy manufacturer. If you want to be very truly successful, you need to almost become an entertainment company. Like, let's look at what Disney is doing. Let's look at what Mattel is doing with the Barbie movie and all that stuff. It's really creating entertainment, and then you have people engage, and then they love the brand, they love the toy, then they'll buy more toys. But it's about like almost like education and entertainment at the same time. It's also called edutainment. So,
Right.
and that, I think that's a huge trend right now in the industry, because it's more than just a product. It's about how can you use the product, but also create content that you can engage with your audience. So I think, especially for the toy manufacturer like myself, and even for your company, it's very important to think outside the box. Like, how can we create more content that will be helpful and beneficial to our end user and our end consumer? And one more question I want to ask, because with your unique background over the 30 years, how did you see Amazon being a disruptor in the industry over, since 30 years ago? Amazon is really not there yet. So when you first started, but I'm pretty sure you see the history on how Amazon was able to grow into this giant company and take over 50% of all market share online currently for retail, and they pretty much put Toy R Us out of business. So what is your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think that's true. I would say that, when I started this journey, the Amazons of the world and Walmart.com and those folks, they were nowhere near on the horizon. We had
Yeah.
back then. I guess I'm aging myself now. We had back
Yeah.
paper
Yeah.
catalogs. We still have
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
left that we sell to, that folks look forward to getting, a paper catalog in their mailbox. And
Mhm.
so that's the part that when I started, there was probably at that point, oh my God, there was probably anywhere from 15 to 20 catalogs that were out there that,
Mhm.
were designated for toys, both third and fourth quarter. And some went all the way through the 12-month cycle. And we saw some large chains that
Mm.
were there that sold specialty toys, and
Yeah.
some, but they were companies that began to expand and have stores nationwide. So we saw that fall by the wayside. We saw the
Mm.
mail order catalog, paper catalogs as we know it. We saw that
Yeah.
fall by the wayside, and then slowly you saw Amazon and folks like that developing. And yes, they have a huge portion of the market,
Yeah.
and
They do.
growing every day. But again, I
Yeah.
go back to, from a retail standpoint, the retailers that are successful today are the folks that are making their store or stores a
Mhm.
destination. And what I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
by that is that, folks get in their car and they drive to a specialty toy store in their neighborhood or in their
Mhm.
town or their city. And it's up to that retailer to offer product that's unique. Yes, in
Mm.
many cases, you might be able to buy that same product on Amazon. But
Yes.
folks, there is still people that want to feel and touch and get educated about that particular product. And if the retailer is doing their job, they're attracting those folks. Yes, it's very
Mm.
easy to sit at home and get on your laptop or your computer and place an order, and 24 to 48 hours later, it's at your
Mhm.
doorstep. I saw folks when COVID hit that were delivering from their toy store. You could pull up in front of the toy
Yes.
store, honk your horn, and someone in the store came out and gave you that box. So
Yeah.
everybody is trying to, again, continue to reinvent themselves. But Amazon is not going anywhere. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes, they are.
That's
Yeah.
understandable. But I think that from the retailer standpoint, which are the specialty retailers that are out there today,
Mhm.
they continue to challenge themselves, and they
Yeah,
continue
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
challenge their markets. And I think that
yeah,
you've got to have, it's not just in toys, you've got to have a destination today, and maybe some entertainment is involved there. Maybe there's
yes,
reading going on, maybe there's cartoon characters, whatever that might be in that
yeah,
given store. So
yeah.
again, all bets are off. I think you can do whatever you think your community is going to accept, and what people will like, and
Yeah,
hopefully
and there is
continue.
some very, very unique experience that you cannot replicate online that is only available when you have an in-person store. For example, I interviewed one of the toy owners. She have a store in Seattle. What she does is like she will have like special community event and invite the customer to go into the store. One of the event they were asking, I believe they are doing like a contest of how to decorate their toys. And
Okay,
then they will like select the winner, just make it really fun. It's almost like a
sure,
competition, but also like a fun contest that the local community can. She's trying to bring the local community together so people can interact with each other again in person. And that's what was missing during COVID. We have zero actual in-person social connection. We have Zoom meeting, but that's different than shaking someone in person with the hands and having that human to human connections. And I think that is a very, very unique advantage of a specialty toy store that Amazon of the world can never duplicate. But since
that's
with
true.
what I do, I help, with essentially what I do is I help business to launch their toys on Amazon. So what
Right,
I see, one of the common fear some of the people have is like, oh, is Amazon going to take away the my retail like store presence and all that? I would say it's actually the opposite. It should enhance the experience because a lot of the people when you are doing shopping, I do it myself when I go into Walmart or Target. If I want to buy a toys or anything, the first thing I do is scan the barcode and read the review on Amazon. I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure I do that all the
right,
time.
right,
Especially the higher the ticket item, the more I look at the review. It's like I'm about to spend like $50 on this toy. Is this going to break in 2 days?
right.
That is something that's how I feel like it actually complement each other if you do it correctly. If you have the map pricing in place and really control the price so it doesn't erode and really compete on each other. If you can, that's why when I'm consulting with my client, like having that like battle plan going in to and launching Amazon is so important. All of your retailer need to be on the same page, and you some retailer will try to sell your product on Amazon too. So you need to know that and try to have like the exclusive like agreement in place with all the retailers. Like you are not allowed to sell on Amazon, only us. So you have that 100% control of the Amazon buy box, which is also very, very important. And when I went to Astra, I was talking to a lot of the specialty store owner. I sense there's like a fear among like, oh, Amazon's gonna steal our businesses, but I don't feel like it's a direct competition because it's very different. The experience that a specialty toy store can create, Amazon can never create that in a million years. It's just not possible. How can you create that in-person community like feel where people like and know people's names? Like Amazon doesn't know your name, they don't really care. They will
Right,
never know your first name. But that is
right.
the new experience that the specialty toy store and the store owner can replicate and can create. That is the advantage that will never go away, in my opinion.
No, that's very true. And I also think that's another piece of the puzzle that, as we spoke in the beginning of the podcast, in regards to being being 100% specialty and protecting specialty, from our standpoint, what we do is we protect the whole circle. So if there is
Mm,
a certain price point that we all need to be at, we
yes.
protect that point.
Yeah.
And again, there is companies that are doing that religiously, and there's
Yes.
companies that are not. I'm glad to say, from our standpoint, that we protect the retailer and we protect the pricing of that given product, whatever it may be. Because the minute you let that loose, it
Yeah.
becomes a
All
circus.
hell. Yeah. All hell broke loose. Yeah.
We
Uh,
pride ourselves in staying on top of that. It's a daily job.
yes.
And again,
Yeah.
we're
It is
looking we're looking for long-term partners. We're not looking for
for sure.
short-term partners. A
For
lot of
sure.
people, want to get into the short profit making. We're there for the long haul, and I'm proud to say that the people that we've worked with over the years are in the same thought process. And so again, you shouldn't be, if you're dealing with a company that you have to worry about pricing, then you shouldn't be. And I think that
Exactly.
there's enough good companies out there that you'd feel comfortable, and that they're going to stand behind you and you're going to stand behind them.
100%. So let's transition the interview and the podcast to let's talk about your own company a little bit. So the original toy company emphasizing educational play value. Can you share some of the product? Or I don't know if you have any product at the room that you're in right now that you can also show on camera. But what are some of the product that you're most proud of?
Well, we have a number of products. We go from infant up to about, I'd say, 7 to 8 years old that we top out at.
Yes.
The core of our product would be age-wise would probably be from three to six. And we go from high quality small impulse items to item like a trampoline. We were one of the first ones to offer a nursery trampoline in the market in the United States, and we're proud of that. Majority of our product is wood. We make it out of rubber wood. A lot of it's made out of rubber wood. A lot of it's made out of oak and maple. So it's very, very traditional products. We have a product called Sit, which is a very simply an elastic group of wooden blocks that we invented about, it's over 10 years now, and we've sold millions in the specialty market. And we do a line of musical instruments for young children. And again, that's targeted at anywhere from 4 to 6 years old. We traditional wooden blocks. We don't really do any craft end of it. It's primarily infant, impulse, music, building. We do a number of different products that we have developed over the years. And we also, our products that we're proud of are products that when we bring them out, they're there for lifetime, for years. We're not in the business of creating a product that's going to be popular for 2-3 years and then we move on. That's just not our Our model is basically to offer high quality traditional type toys. And again, we've seen that market up and down over the last 10 to 15 years, but there is still a lot of folks, consumers that are looking for just nice traditional toys. We have product like pop-up toys that we have done. We do a pop-up school bus. We do a pop-up fire truck.
Pop-up school bus. Okay, that sounds fun.
So again, I think that to summarize, it's we're a traditional toy company, and with traditional values and traditional type wooden type products.
I see. So I want to transition the question to talk about how important it is to maintain relationship with sales rep and distributors, because I'm pretty sure you have a lot of sales rep group that's representing the company. And that's something I personally struggle with my own toys brand, because for the past 8 years, when I started Lucky Kid, which is our in-house toy brand, we design sensory toy. We are 100% online. We only do digital. We are digital. That's it. This year, I'm thinking and like dabbling a little bit on getting into the specialty store and retail store. That's why I was in Astra and also had a booth. However, one of my struggle is like, how do I find the right sales rep? I'm pretty sure someone that's new to the toy industry that just started their own toys brand have the same exact question, because there's no directory. I can just Google it and see, oh, this is a review for the sales rep group. This is the best sales rep group to work with for what district. It's like no information out there. It's like 100% connection based, which as a digital marketer, I don't like. I want to see data. I want to see transparency. I want to see what is really going on behind the curtain for all the sales rep group, because I heard horror story of you just send them samples and nothing happened. It's like I just waste all the time and money and like nothing happened with the sales rep group. What is your perspective on approaching this kind of partnership?
I think the short answer to that is that it, again, back to that magical word of relationships. In our case, we take the United States and we've divided it up into 12 sales territories.
Okay.
And you have a number of sales groups that are out there offering their services to the specialty toy trade. I think there's a couple things. I think there's a couple things that that folks should be looking for. Number one is a relationship.
Yeah.
From a standpoint that it's a sales group or individuals that you and your company feel comfortable with, and vice versa, meaning that sales group feels comfortable with you. So that's number one. Number
Yeah.
two is I always highly recommend that they offer many different lines underneath one roof, that they
Yeah.
sell different toy lines. I
Yes.
always say that you try to look for a sales group that does not have any conflicts, meaning
Conflicts. Yes.
that they've carried other companies that are the same or similar to your products.
Mm.
That's not the answer, because you want somebody that you're going to have a relationship, and that group is going to be with you long term. Our average sales group that we have been with us minimum of 10 plus years.
Oh,
Some
whoa. Okay.
I
Okay.
have
Whoa.
sales reps. I have sales reps that work for me that have been with me over 30 years.
Whoa.
And they are
Okay.
relationships. We're both partners. We're both partners in the same type of business, and I think that carries a great value. It's tough out there as a sales rep, keeping in mind that they work on commission. So they
Yeah.
are out there. You want a sales rep that has good relationships with the retailers, and many of them do. And I
So
would
when you engage with a new sales rep group, can you interview the rep and say, I want this rep instead of the other rep? How does it usually work?
Well, you're usually hiring a sales group. So
Yeah.
within that group, you might have,
But
depending on
then
how
you always
territory.
have A player and B player within the same group. But I only want an A player. I don't want B player that's representing my brand. Can I even able to choose that?
No, because I think what happens is you're looking at a certain sales territory. Let's say,
Yes,
let's just
yes.
say it's 3 or 4 states sales territory, and in
Yeah.
that group there might be 5 people. And like with any sales organization, there is always going to be stars, and there's always going to be maybe folks that are
Yeah.
good as the stars. But you're
Yeah.
hiring the whole group, and
Mm,
if you do it right, they all bring something to the party, and I think that's
okay.
important. And again, they have a tough job, and
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
you want to support them. As it's I look at them as that they are representing me in the field. I'm not physically in the
Mm,
field; they are physically in the field. So
yes.
again, from our standpoint, you have to support them. You have to back them up, and you would like the same thing in return, that they're going to support and back you up. We have, it's not an easy process. I can tell you that, for more than 25 years, we've built a network of salespeople, and that's something that you cannot do overnight. That's something
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you talk to retailers and
Mhm.
find out retailers like Joe or Mary. They may not like Fred, whatever. So you try to find a nice chemistry for everybody, and
Yeah. That's
ideally,
tricky.
we've done that. And again, it's not something that happens overnight. It takes time and many,
For
many
sure.
years.
For sure, for sure. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So my next question is really about the product development process, because how many SKU do you currently have? I can imagine you have a lot of SKU right now.
Yeah, in total, we probably have about 225.
Whoa, that's a lot of SKU. So it fit in right into my question. What criteria do you use when you're selecting new toys to add to the lineup?
We probably, on an average year, say, coming in this coming January, any average year, we probably introduce a low of 8 to a high of maybe 12 to 15 totally new products. But at the
Whoa.
same
Okay.
time, we're also looking at products that we've sold for many, many years. And
Yeah.
if they are doing their job, then fine. But you are going to find product that begins to decline, and maybe that
Mm,
product needs to be revamped. Maybe the
mm,
product just needs to be taken out of the line. So
yeah.
we don't grow the SKU. If anything, we control that SKU count
Control.
to somewhere around a couple hundred at the most.
I
And again,
see.
find
Interesting.
the core of the items. The core of the items are probably, I'd say, anywhere from 30 to 40 core items that are moving through the system every single day. So ideally, what you're looking for is to develop a product that is going to go into the core and raise that number of the core up. It'd be great in the world if you had 200 products and all 200 were in the core. That's just not going to happen. You're going to find that there's a product core that constantly sells and constantly moves through the system. So we concentrate and try to look at developing our core to be tighter and maybe slightly a little bit bigger.
Do you also try to work with toy inventors and like license their idea as well, or do you have an in-house team where you just develop everything in-house?
We pretty much do develop our own line of product under the
Okay.
original toy brand name. We do
Yes.
ourselves. We are also distributors for a couple different lines.
I
Plasto,
see.
which is in Finland, which is sand and water, and then we do
Oh,
Bontempi Music
yeah.
from Italy. So
Yes.
they will create those products, but the original toy product that's labeled on the box, we develop ourselves here.
I see. Okay. Nice. And is most of your product currently manufactured in China, or what other country are you currently using for manufacturing all the
Yeah,
toys?
I would say a large percentage of it comes from China. There is some that come from Europe, but I'd say 85% would be from mainland China.
I guess, how do you balance the challenge of manufacturing in China with the geopolitical issues? I'm from Taiwan, as you know. Taiwan and China is always in this constant conflict, and with everything that's going on. And do you also try to diversify by finding more manufacturing from other countries, so it's not so concentrated in China?
We began to look at that diversification over the last few years. I think a lot of companies have done that. You have different markets
Yes, yes,
that are emerging: Taiwan, Vietnam, India, Mexico. So again,
yes.
we're looking for that on a continuing basis, probably more
Okay.
today than we were 3-4 years ago.
What country do you recommend to diversify?
You probably would begin to start looking at Vietnam as a possibility,
Vietnam. Okay. Okay.
possibly Thailand also,
Hmm.
and
Nice.
possibly India. A number of them are going to be players. As I say, players. They're going to be able to offer, I think, better quality and better services as time goes on, because you can see those changes occurring now.
My concern with those developing countries is their supply chain and their manufacturing industry is just not as mature, because I visit China
Sure.
multiple times myself. I see how well developed their manufacturing, their supply chain, how big their seaport is. And if you go to Canton Fair, you'll see the whole scale of things is crazy. It's massive. So
Yes.
that's kind of my main concern is like, are they really
Oh, I
ready
think
for that?
Yeah, no, and I
Yeah.
think you're absolutely right. I think it's going to take time with infrastructure and materials for those other countries to come online and be a player, so to speak. But I
Yeah.
can tell you
Yeah.
that there is movement there now. You can see it, but it's still got a ways to go.
Have you investigated into Mexico because it's so close? Do you
A little bit,
how
not a little bit,
no,
not that much, but
not that
we
much.
looked at it. They tend to be, from our standpoint, of wood-based products. We
Oh,
really haven't found that. If it's paper goods, crafts, things like that, then I think that there is possibilities in
hmm.
Mexico. But for the type of thing that we want and what we're looking for at the moment, I can't really say
Not
that that's
yet.
true.
I see. Because I go to actually Tijuana with my friends sometimes over the weekends, so I
Yeah,
do go to Mexico pretty often.
gotcha.
So yeah, so it will be nice if we can find a manufacturer that's our neighbor
So,
instead of all the way like see like sitting in the container from Pacific. It just
right.
take forever. For example, one of our container it got stuck on the ocean and we're still waiting for it. It's supposed to arrive last week. But then because of this whole very long supply chain process, if anything went wrong, it delayed the whole thing.
Oh,
If
constantly. We
yeah,
run into that more times than I'd like to admit.
I know. So that's why I'm also trying to diversify, but it's also tricky with diversification because it's also quality control issue. Can
Right.
other country also produce a product at the quality that we are currently producing in our manufacturers in China? Right now, for my brand, I have 3 factories that I use: one in Shanghai, one in Shenzhen, and one in Xiamen. I visited the one in Shanghai in person before. The other 2, I haven't visited them in person yet, which I want to maybe next year when I
Right.
go back to Asia. I try to go back to Asia like every summer. So so that's another thing I want to look at. How often do you go visit your manufacturer in person?
Up until COVID,
Yes.
I was doing it a minimum of once, sometimes twice a year.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
since COVID, I have not.
Oh, you have
Um,
not. Okay,
and it's
okay.
just starting to get back into that cycle. But
Yeah, yeah.
prior to COVID, it was
I think
definitely.
it's very important.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Again, it's back to the relationship.
Relationship.
You're,
Yes,
you're
yes,
there in
yes, yes.
person.
Yeah,
You
and
build those
the way
relationships.
the Chinese people do business, you have to drink with them.
Right.
You have to drink with them. That's just how it works. If you don't
As
drink
they
something,
say,
it's not gonna
come by.
work. Kanpai. And you have to drink some baijiu with the Chinese factory boss.
Exactly.
That's how you negotiate a better, cheaper price and better payment term. That's just how it
Yeah,
works. So
absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah. So okay, as well wrapping up today's interview and the podcast. Thank you so much. One of the question I ask every single guest as for the podcast is if you had to just share one piece of advice with someone that's just getting started in the toy industry, what would that be?
Ooh, it's a good question. Um, I guess I would say that, if it feels right to you, then move forward. If you have any type of hesitation on whatever that topic may be, um, do some more homework. And if
Mm,
you still have that, then that's probably not the avenue that you want to go down. But I think that
mm,
my advice for success is that it's a two-way street. It's
yeah.
gotta feel good. It's gotta feel good for you. And if it does, you've done your homework, then move forward. But trust your judgment, but also do your homework.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice. Where can people find you?
We're located in Milford, Connecticut, right on the
Yeah.
coastline of Long Island Sound.
Okay.
We have our internet site is the original toy company, all spelled out.com. And
Okay.
you can see our great products and a little bit more about who and what we are. And
Mhm.
we always say to people, pick up the phone. We'd love to talk to you. We're not, we don't make it hard to get a hold of us, and we don't make it hard to do business. We want to, we want people to feel comfortable with us, and
Mhm.
we're here to serve and again support. I've supported, and my company has supported the specialty toy trade for over 30 years, and we'll continue
Mhm.
to keep doing that. We're a family-owned company, so again, as we move forward, our trust and our feeling is again that support of the folks that have supported us and brought us to this far. So again, we'll continue to
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah, so I believe in that as well. My sister is also working in my business with alongside with me, so it's we have the similar
Gotcha.
family value.
It has.
So yeah, say that again.
I said it has its moments with family. You never know.
It does. Of course. It's a interesting dynamic when you have a family member involved in the business for sure. So thank you again for being on the podcast and sharing all the wisdom, your decades of knowledge in the toy industry. Is your product also available beside the website? Is it also available on Amazon right now, or is it only on the site and the retail
No,
store?
some of our products are on Amazon. Yes.
Son is on Amazon too. Okay. So they can definitely also find it on Amazon as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
My
on the
pleasure.
show, and I will speak with you soon.
Okay. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.